In today's episode, share with me in some good news, which hey, let's celebrate those wins no matter where they come from. The wins today, the channel reaching 900 subscribers. Thank you for being part of this unusual journey. In today's fresh episode, I try something new and provide a roundup of some different topics that I'm currently looking at but don't currently have my research completed. However, I'm going to provide you some new insights and those links are going to be in the description below. So let's get started. Have you missed the recent AMP token community news? First, the AMP community is celebrating a lot of important insight from Tyler Spalding. There was a recent meeting of the minds held, and what I'll say is there are some very interesting considerations happening with AMP. AMP token is just getting started, and despite the dark gloom in the markets, there's very real interesting conversations happening there. Outside of AMP token, let's look at some new activity in the ANKR community. You see, second, in the ANKR orbit, just know that I am looking more carefully at recent news involving Prime Block. There's a rather interesting story with a SPAC deal falling apart, some recent media about very large data facilities creating a lot of noise, and Prime Block's financial statements that I'm still reading through. There's a link to that deck in the description below. Researching with purpose. Well, that gets me to Algorand. Third is Algorand today. It gets a bit more than I have time to explain, but I should note that I'm looking over the Algorand ASA or NFT implementation and aligning that with what I know about ANKR and frankly to an extent the AMP token, but only by way of the Spin SDK that Flexa provides. Also, the Algorand DC footprint, that's Washington DC, sure is interesting this time of year. What's going on in DC? Well, fourth, this is a busy week for central banks such as the Federal Reserve and central banks everywhere. So far, the astrological predictions of the retrograde sequences for the year are still playing out as expected, which if you missed that video, it's also linked in the description below. Now, I know not everyone buys into astrology, and I don't think you need to. However, just note that I think it's the same phenomenon that makes technical analysis of stock charts somewhat viable, meaning if you have enough people with real money who also happen to believe in the impact of those cycles, and then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, there's some inherent power of manifesting your own destiny. After all, I am an enchanted and talking milkshake brought to life by Poseidon, god of the sea. Make waves, my friends.